He's an award-winning production designer, set decorator, and art director whose work includes Dolomite Is My Name, Almost Famous, and the upcoming Harvest Moon, starring Paul Bettany and Candice Bergen. So please help me welcome Clay Griffith.
Good evening. It's an honor to be here tonight to present the LMGI 2022 Lifetime Achievement Award to my friend, my colleague, and the man I call the doctor, John Panzarella. John is one of the most respected location professionals in the business. As soon as his name was announced for this recognition, the number of people who wanted to present to him showed how much love and respect John has garnered from his colleagues over the past years. Yes, it's true, John Panzarella is a visionary in his profession, a man of unerring instincts and grand sense of film and movies. Here's just a small sample of the films and TV series he's location managed. In more than 4 decades, he's worked in Hollywood. Lethal Weapon, Midnight Run, LA Confidential, Charlie Wilson's War, It's Complicated, Hail Caesar, Jason Bourne, Roadies, and Vice. And a few of the directors he's worked with, often again and again, because once someone works with John, they don't want anybody else. Cameron Crowe, the Coen brothers, Blake Edwards, Mike Nichols, Nancy Myers, Adam McKay, Barry Levinson, Curtis Hanson, and Larry Kasdan. Not a bad group, every one of them known for iconic films with a distinct physical look. But the doctor is also an architect of the journey, and that is where his single name status was born. My fondest memories of working with him, and happily we did it a lot together, are those days I spent riding shotgun in his car. No, nothing will ever equal scouting with John. First of all, it's a safe bet he'd spent many hours the night before crafting the definitive playlist for the ride. A fistful of rare bootlegs and musical artists he's chosen for the feeling of the places you'll be traveling. Every artist, every song corresponded to some aspect of the story and the location. I remember a director's scout on Elizabethtown, which starred tonight's honoree Orlando Bloom. It was my first film working with John. I sat in the front seat next to Don Lee, our producer. Cameron Crowe, the film's writer-director, sat next to John in the back seat. We drove from Nashville to Louisville, mirroring a route taken in the film. For 176 miles, Cameron and John were in a heated discussion, not about the movie, about every nook and cranny of music. That day it was Americana. It was like watching 2 human jukeboxes going at one another. Cameron's musical knowledge is legendary, but John's matches it note for note. Yes, along the way to finding the locations that only he can provide, you also get a lively dissertation on Dylan, Tom Petty, Neil Young, the Byrds, and the Grateful Dead. All augmented by an uncanny knowledge of obscure bootlegs that only a few have heard, and where a specific B-side was recorded. He has stories of seeing the Beatles at Shea Stadium. I had no choice but to give him the nickname, the Doctor of Music. Over time, like all lasting nicknames, it became more succinct, the Doctor. He also has a great eye, a unique vision that has always produced results. John's knowledge of architecture and history are impressive to say the least. His ability at merging the creative with the practical is the stuff of legend. It has always been my distinct joy to work with this man. He's personable, honest, friendly, and speaks the plain truth. His team is always the best, And he's a leader who knows exactly what needs to be done and makes it happen perfectly. He treats people with respect and gets that genuine respect and affection in return. John Panzarella is that person you dreamed you'd work with when you got into this business and feared didn't exist. He's got that indefinable ingredient, passion. To that, and you can add to that, humor. The only thing he ever did to disappoint the people he worked with is retire. It's well known that he is a loving husband, father, and grandfather. We're happy they now get to take turns riding shotgun on those long rides in the car. You just know those kids are going to grow up seeing some very special locations. So tonight, we give you the man you meet when you want to create something grand, something cinematic. He's got the score all laid out for you. He has the prescription we're all looking for. Turn up the music and enjoy this celebration of John Panzarella. I give you the doctor.
Jump. Do you want it? Good. What do you mean? Probably nothing.
What are you doing? See you in the next life, Jack! Let's go.
I got my family coming out tomorrow.
Right over here. Just turn.
Hold it. Got it. Move!
Just sort of came up.
Ma'am, we're gonna need to borrow your car. Don't forget your purse.
this thing, or what? Is this happening?
Yeah.
Please welcome a talented art director and production designer I've had the pleasure of working with, John's wife, Katie Maxey.
Hi, thank you, Clay. That was amazing. I'm so proud of you. John and I met 23 years ago, almost to the day. John would call that a good start. We've been everything to each other since then. Anyone who knows John knows what an exceptional person he is. At work, he never took sick days or personal days. He worked through pretty much anything you could throw at someone, and he always took the job seriously and with grace. What you don't know is that every night when work was done, no matter how late, no matter where either of us was on the map, he would take 5 minutes to decompress, just 5, and then we'd launch into recapping the day's events. It didn't take that long, since we generally spoke on the phone 10 or 12 times a day anyway. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Clay was there. Here's what I want to say about John. He took care of huge issues and minuscule annoyances, and then he came home and took care of me every single day. Thick and thin, sickness and health, without fail. We've had tremendous fun storming the castle. It's with great joy I have the honor to present the 2022 Location Managers Guild International Lifetime Achievement Award to John Panzarella.
I got to talk? Holy shit. Thank you, Katie. Thank you, Clay.
Go, Johnny.
I want to thank my fabulous and talented wife and my good buddy and incredibly gracious real high, Mr. Clay Griffith. And my sincere thanks to the LMGI for this honor. It's wonderful to be in a room with so many friends and colleagues I admire and respect. I've got to say it's really gratifying to be recognized by your peers. I mean, it really fills me up with love for all the incredible people I've met and worked with over the years. Tonight's ceremony is my first official call anywhere in Hollywood since I retired, and actually I got here 3 hours early to make sure the signs were up. And the tents were wired and the toilets were clean, you know, details. You gotta love a job where you start out a key member of the creative team and wind up being remembered for how it went with signs, tents, and toilets. It's a little weird. But I loved my job. I love my job. I love my job. I love my job. Making movies is not for the faint of heart. It's a big commitment, if only in time. When I retired, I had over 90,000 hours in my pension. You end up spending as much if not more time with the people you work with than with your family. And in time, the people you work with over and over again become family. You do your best to have each other's backs, and not surprisingly, have a lot of fun together while working your asses off. I'm going to talk about fun, drive around with this guy for a couple of months. I'd also like to thank my mom and dad for giving me the self-confidence and insights that have helped me along the way. I'd also like to thank my sisters and my brother for their love and support. I also have to say that working with my son JT was one of the great joys of my life. He became a terrific Key and Scout and an even better husband and father to my grandkids, Hank, Lily, and Thomas. And as for my work family, I'd like to thank my friends Steve Dayon and Ed Duffy for their friendship and their leadership of our union, Teamsters Local 399. Donna Washington has been a blessing to all of us in the location community here in Los Angeles through her leadership at Film LA. I've had so many incredible collaborators over the years, fantastic production designers, like there he is again, Clay. Katie is too, but we haven't gotten to work as a production designer, only art director. Jeanine Opelwell, my pal, Patrice Vermette, John Hutman, Victor Kempster, the great Dean Tavaleris. And I have to give a special thanks to the venerables Bill Krieber and Ted Haworth, who taught me how to scout early in my business days. I've worked with many great managers and scouts like Nancy Haker, Greg Lazaro, Laura Sodi Madison, Randy Spangler, Rory Anka, Peter Martirano, and I want to give a special mention to my friend, Lori Bolton. We've worked together many times throughout our careers, but especially noteworthy are her contributions to our community. There have been so many great keys and assistants through the years that I can't possibly mention them all, or I'd be up here all night. So I apologize if I don't specifically thank you tonight, but believe me, I am grateful. But I'd like to mention Elaine Lipton, Dan Gorman, that lunatic over there, David Lyons, Zachy Khan, Michael Chicky, Dylan Kirkland, David Park, Charles Fagan, and the inimitable Urse Cantu. But I especially want to thank Leslie Thorson. LT and I did about 35 pictures together. She was always the glue that held our department together, my closest collaborator, my pal, my partner in crime. I can't possibly thank her enough. But I try, all the time. So thanks to you all, and especially thanks to my wonderful wife, Katie, who makes every day a joy. So like I was saying, making movies is not for the faint of heart. But if you give them a little bit of your heart, they just might love you back. Thank you. One last thing. Defend democracy and protect women's rights everywhere. Vote. Vote. Thank you.